Hello sports lovers, welcome to Met Sports TV. In today's episode, we are privileged to have a boxing promoter who is doing well for himself. But before we get into it, kindly subscribe to the channel, adhere to all COVID-19 protocol, and stay safe. He is in the person of Michael Annan, the CEO of Don's Promotion. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. You are a very hard man to come by, so let's start from your beginning. Who are you?
Well, I am a young man who hails from Gamashi, from the Mayweather quarters. I grew up in Gamashi for most part of my formative years. Schooled in Gamashi, notably at Richard Akwe Memorial School. From Richard Akwe Memorial School, then to Adan Secondary School. Then, subsequently, I joined the professional course of ACCA, and that is where I am today.
Okay. That's very nice, a difficult course to conquer. Okay. Growing up, most children are interested in sports. Did you like sports whilst growing up?
Yes, I love sports, and also because my dad was a sports enthusiast, it really pushed myself into sports a lot. So yes, I love sports.
Okay. But you are now into boxing. What point did you develop the interest for boxing?
Well, we developed love for boxing when I was very young. In our house, there was a boxer, Soa Thompson, who was a Commonwealth champion back then. Amateur, they did well also those were the days of like quarters during the amateur days. And also my dad had a lot of these video clips of those in Ali bouts, Muhammad Ali's bouts, Fraser, and all those guys. So this is what really got me involved in boxing. And also after school, you would go and box. So it was a nice thing, but you have to do it in hiding.
Oh, okay. You know? So you've received a punch before?
Yes, and I normally don't like talking about that.
Okay. So fast forward to after school practicing as a young boy. So I guess I can call you a disappointed boxer, but what led you into boxing promotions itself?
Well, I had always enjoyed boxing. I had always supported boxing from the backgrounds. And I thought at a point that the way I would have wished it was done was not how I was getting it. So although I was supporting, I did not have a lot of say in how it was being done. And therefore, to get it right, it meant that I would have to jump in. And that is when I jumped in.
Okay.
So somewhere in 2018, I said, well, enough is enough. I won't sit back any longer. I would jump in and participate as a promoter.
Okay. So you've been participating actively in boxing for 3 years now?
Sure.
Okay. So how was the setup of Don's Promotion? Because setting up promotions is quite...
Oh, it wasn't so difficult. Like I said, I have been at the background. For most of the fights you saw, I was in the shadows in terms of the arrangement of the bouts and all that. Most of those bouts were fixed here, you know. And one of the prominent one was Aziz Kwati with Robert Quay.
Okay.
It was fixed in this room. Yes, it was fixed in this room. And a couple of other fights. Like I said, so it wasn't so difficult. It was a matter of bringing, most of the boxers are known to me already. Most of them also come to me already as friends and all that. And it was not a difficult thing to start it all. Yeah.
Okay. Do you just promote or you manage as well?
Well, I managed, and I still do some management, but I'm trying to win myself out of management because most of our boxers don't really understand what management is all about, and believe that management is some employment that they have gotten and that they have to be paid every month and all sort of burdens they bring on you. I think it is time and for all managers to adapt to a certain standard if our boxers will be serious and will be disciplined. The current standards are not allowing us to churn out good boxers. And that is why I've only maintained few and disciplined few.
Okay. So is it a matter of educating boxers about the role of a manager and managers not also going beyond what their contract says? What's it about management and boxing?
Yes, I mean, both of what you have indicated is what the issue is. You see, for a manager, it is up to you to make sure the boxer gets into the ring and fights. Do the negotiations, make sure the boxer is paid well so that the boxer would also pay you. Now the reverse is what is happening. They are paying, or we are paying the boxers, and then we tend to make cheap money out of the boxers and just to pay ourselves. So if I have paid a boxer for 1 year and he's not able to step into the ring, and I want some returns, and there is a fight that offers $5,000, then I would push the boxer to also make some returns. And that is what is killing the sports.
Okay. So we've identified one problem. We would get to the problems, but is that not a conflict of interest? Because in the United States, they have the Muhammad Ali Act that prevents you from, if you're a manager, you're a manager. If you're a promoter, you're a promoter. In Ghana, it's allowed. But is there time for a revolution, or it can still be managed? It should be maintained that way?
No, I think it is time for that revolution to happen. In the sense that I believe promoters have to concentrate on promotion and take themselves out of management. You can have a promotional contract with a boxer, which means that you would have to promote all his fights.
Yeah.
And therefore, I don't see where the issue would be if you are not promoting or managing either way. I think that it is okay to stick to one. And I think when we stick to one, it will do a lot of good.
Okay. Talents are difficult. Managers being pushed to do more than they are supposed to do. Is that, let me use Alex Ferguson, for instance. It says special talents need special treatments. They don't have to be, though they're in a group, they don't have to be treated like any other person. So do you think that talented boxers who have passed through your hands demanded those treatments?
Well, yes, they do. But you see, the bottom line, ours is not that difficult. So Alex Ferguson's environment is quite different from our environment. Yes, I agree that special talent needs some special hands. But the difficulty here is quite different and challenging because the trainer does not want to stick to his training and know that, okay, my job is training. Most trainers today in boxing are equally acting as managers because they feel that, okay, I train the boxer, and when the boxer fights, I see what the promoter gets or I see what the manager gets, and it is more than what I do get. And therefore, I need to intervene. And most of them, their interventions had rather destroyed boxers. A typical one that happened in I can speak to Muay. I know of others, but I can speak to Muay. There was a special talent that we were managing. We had him fought for the WBO Africa interim, and there was a sanctioning that the winner of the WBO interim Africa and the WBO Africa needs to fight. We started and pursued that. The fight came on, and then we had to decide with Ayanda Matiti or so, yes, in South Africa. I think he's one of these political ANC youth wing leaders or something, yeah. And he's also a promoter. So we did some few work, and then the fight was supposed to come on. Their demands were met by us. Should I say some sort of a purse bid that we won. And so the fight was supposed to come on. Only to know that the boxer has changed trainer. And this trainer wants to go behind me and talk to WBO and do the fights. I don't know what they wanted to achieve. And everything fell apart. I'm sure if that fight had come on, that boxer today would have been a world champion. So it is not just about the boxers. It's about the whole environment in boxing. Some trainers have serious issues. They feel they are supposed to manage or they know better than the promoters and they can do better than us. If you can do better than us, you know better than us, just go for a promotional license and start your promotion. That is all it is. So yes, it is bad advice from some of the players within the industry, and that is what is destroying the special talents. It's not really about the special talents. Yes, they will always have their issues, but it is something that is manageable if we don't get some of these interferences. And I think we are good.
My next question, what do you, as Mr. Annan, face as a challenge in boxing promotion?
Oh, a lot. Everything is a challenge. The GBA is a challenge. The facilities we have is a challenge. Most people do not understand, because I was one of the first people who said, I will no longer use the arena for boxing. And it is not to say that it is not it's not a good edifice, it is not a good project. It's a very laudable intervention, but the management of it is so poor that it brings me cost. Today, if I had a fight in the arena and I saw a crowd of more than 4,000, yet my pocket is about roughly 100 people.
That means the 4,000 people, only 100 paid.
Sure. That's what it is.
Okay.
Because, and this is after I have brought a whole police unit from the regional police. This is when I have brought a military, should I say, platoon or what do they call it? One military track of people. And still I had 100 population of 100 in my pocket, and there was 4,000 in the stands. I have to go rent chairs for the inner perimeters. I have to fix extra lighting system. It is like going to Madison Square and saying that you are going to rent trust and lighting system from somewhere else. It doesn't happen. If it is meant for boxing, right, I should walk in as a promoter and get my people boxing. With a few touches to the place, I should be going. But you would end up spending an extra 10,000 cedis just to get the place in shape. So I would prefer most of these hotels that have nice halls, a bit spacious, that can accommodate a manageable crowd for me. You know, security issues. There will be boxing in the ring, and there is boxing also in the stands. And these are people who have not even paid. Government officials feels that they own the arena, so they can drive in anytime they want. Anybody's put up a promotion, and they drive in. I don't know with others, probably when other people are going to have some of these, other promoters are putting up these shows, maybe they go to the politicians to invite them. I have never invited a politician. So I don't really understand why a politician who is not helping me to promote boxing would drive in to the arena and watch my fight. Now, if I stop such a person, oh, Mr. Annan is a bad man, he's a tough guy, he's too hard a person.
That's as the industry notion about you.
That's the industry notion about me.
Yeah.
Well,
because I tried contacting you, I tried to reach you somewhere for your bout at Labadi, and anybody I talk to, that guy will be hard to come by. And it really proved that you were hard to come by.
I wish you had been at Labadi.
I contacted you, but we weren't given accreditation, so I just decided.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you contacted me late.
Yes.
But I wish you were there. It is a case study of how we can put boxing up. It was, the fans were there, they enjoyed themselves in a very respectful and peaceful atmosphere.
Okay.
And what we did was to enjoy boxing in the ring. And it was so beautiful that most people who were lodging at the hotel were like, why did you not tell us? We were not informed. And in fact, we ran no advertisement, but we got the place packed. We were only allowed 150 people. If not for that, we could have filled the place with over 500 people.
Okay. So do you think it's time for the arena to provide security or digitization of the sale of tickets?
Yes, they have to develop further the place. And I don't know what, it's a complete sports complex where you have swimming pools, you have other halls and all that. But you see, boxing is business, it's sports, it's entertainment, and it is lifestyle. When you are going to the arena and you will close, let's say, around 12, and you have to close it in your car and drive home, I don't think that is boxing. Boxing needs a certain type of atmosphere. I would have loved that after boxing, the fans who can pay to enter into the nightclubs will be able to go into nightclub and interact with the boxers. People want to have a feel of the boxers. Our boxers don't have following. Why? Because nobody knows them. They only jump into the ring, they box, and then they go and hide until a promoter calls them up to a ring. Nobody knows what they are doing.
People not knowing the boxers, is that not the job of the promoter? Because the promoter is to make sure his boxer is known all over. Like someone like Stopper, who you've worked with, Rob, will be pointed out if he's outside Jamestown.
Well, he will not be pointed out outside Jamestown because boxing is today haddock. Even with COVID, every week there is boxing on Top Rank.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
People are watching. The issue is, yes, I can put him out there. I can put any of my boxers out there to be boxing every 2 weeks and putting shows up every 2 weeks. But people out there don't want to pay. Media don't want to support that agenda. And media don't want to pay for what they cover.
Okay.
So how then do I make money enough to sustain such a project? So the issue is not about just the promoter. It is about the entire environment. Do we really understand what boxing could do for this nation? I think that is where the issue is. As a nation, do we really understand what boxing can do for us? We have got the talent in abundance, and that is what others don't have. The US has to import talent. The likes of Oscar de la Hoya were all importation into the US. These were Mexicans.
Marquez.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Exactly. Mention all of them.
Miguel Cotto.
Cotto. And all of them. They were imported. And we have it in abundance, and we don't even know the value of what we have. Now, walk to a media station and you will be told, oh, you need to pay us this much. I am giving you content that you need on your network to promote your network and make sales on your network. And then you turn around to tell me that I should pay for providing you a content. Then I'll keep my content. And that is why boxing is in the dark.
Okay. You are talking about the TV station needs the content, but now they are acting as if they don't need the content.
Yes.
So what else should we do? Should we look at the zone template, which is the app pay-per-view? What are some of the measures in which Ghanaian boxers...
The way forward is pay-per-view. The last two promotion that I had, show that I had, was at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. And I had about 17,000 people watching online on Facebook. The issue is I cannot monetize Facebook. That is the issue. And developing your own app which you can monetize is also an issue here because of, I tried it. We have a PPV platform, but also the issue is putting it out there. The media will not say, would be quick to say that how do you call him? This recent bout that happened between the old men, Mayweather's fight. All our media stations, without any inducement, were promoting it, isn't it?
Floyd versus Paul.
They were promoting it. Weren't they promoting it? The media were promoting it.
They spoke about it.
To what benefit?
Don't you think? Don't you think it's time for some kind of support or cash injection or sponsorship so that people are willing to watch boxing week in, week out?
It is up to us to clean up the GBA, do things that will make boxing attractive. And like I did the last time, I went to Media 7 and I got Media 7 to broadcast it. Gradually, and hopefully, we would have our own TV station with Media 7 with time. And probably we can start monetizing it. And at that point, when we have grown big and we have the muscles, and excuse me to say, I tell a media station to walk off, I will not be a bad person, because they have the opportunity today to support us, to make more value for us to share. And they are not taking that opportunity.
Okay. Now, to your last promotion, you had kickboxing on it, Muay Thai on it. Muay Thai is a combat sport, right? I believe in growing together. Muay Thai is a combat sport, but don't you think you are in competition with them? You see boxing and Muay Thai as competitive?
No, I don't. Bottom line, not all our boxers are cut out for boxing. You know, some of them came from the street fighting, and we need to maintain them. The UFC today is doing so much well.
Yeah.
There is a lot of money in there. Are you saying we should be left out?
No, I'm not saying they should be left out. I'm saying
Sure.
that they should have.
Who is promoting Muay Thai, the whole of Africa? Mention one single person.
That's a tall order.
There is none. And that is what somebody must start. I have a lot of Muay Thai boxers from my hood, Buko. I see them training all the time, sending me videos. Muay Thai boxers from Nigeria are sending me videos. From Ivory Coast, they send me video. For me, I see a market. And it's going to get to a time we will separate the Muay Thai from boxing. For now, because of costs, we are putting them on the same platform. But don't be surprised in the near future to see the UFC in Ghana under Don's promotion.
I wouldn't be because the UFC has a lot of African champions right now. Israel Adesanya,
The Nigerians and all that.
the welterweight guy, I've forgotten his name. Then the Cameroonian heavyweight champion. So and a lot of South Africans are into the UFC. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to penetrate West Africa by sporting a country, and it could be Ghana.
Sure, it should be Ghana.
Fine.
And this is the things that I feel we are losing out of.
You are speaking about cleaning up the GBA. Now we have a new administration. What do you expect from them as a boxing promoter?
Well, the process of electing the current president is one of the ways to clean up the GBA. I think we've had people in the past who were busy concentrating on their own professions and all that. And I think this will be the first time we would have gotten somebody who I believe would make time for the activities of the GBA and ensure that things are put in proper place. And that is what we pray for. And so this election of Kota Nikwe is part of the cleanup of the GBA, and we pray it is successful. The other thing is we having our own ranking system. in Ghana. How can a boxing nation like Ghana not have a ranking system? Today you see a boxer at welterweight jump to middleweight, super at welterweight, fighting for the national title. Excuse my language, even the national titles are dirty. There is no pride in holding them.
Why?
You are a sports journalist. Mention one of the national champions.
National champions. John Lai, Theophilus.
Because we have seen him holding and visiting.
No, I know
Member
John
of
Lai.
Parliament, Honorable Nilante Vanapor, you have met. Okay, mention the welterweight champion.
I don't know the welterweight champion.
Middleweight.
I don't think we have a middleweight champion.
Super.
I don't think then we have just about 4 national champions. The rest are vacant, most of them.
Why? So somebody fights for a title, wins the title, and the mandatory 3 months is passed, and the GBA will not instruct them to put up a fight. And then it is not boxing.
The challenge sometimes, speaking to promoters, the difficulty in getting opponents for their fighters in order to defend those national champions or other championship are quite difficult.
There are no difficulties. The difficulties are coming from the poor management of the GBA.
So do you support the school institution must be changed? Because the other time there was suggestions were just done for about 45 minutes. This time there should be a prior notice, constitution sent to everybody or everybody given the chance to download, and
that is what we will need, and that is what is going to happen. It should happen.
Emergency Congress.
It should happen.
Okay, so now, what have you done differently? Okay, what have you done differently from other boxing promoters in the country?
Well, I have not allowed any Achiagbeshi boxer in my ring.
Okay.
Now,
for the record, Achiagbeshi is a boxer who comes for a payday, takes one punch, and goes down.
and that is for me why a lot of people within the industry will say, as for Don, is a troublesome guy. Even at Labadi Beach, I stopped about 2 fights from entering into my ring. I did not see your training. I did not see your preparation towards the fight. You did not show up at weigh-in, and you are here to box.
Is that not the inefficiency of the GBA monitoring the matchmakers?
Even if the GBA, with that, even if the GBA do not do their work well, you, the promoter, you must value your ring.
Okay. So now let's talk about your contract you had with StarTime.
Sure.
I did not hear of StarTime at your Labadi bout because I spoke to someone who was there.
Oh yes, because we had terminated that contract.
Why?
Well, after the first bout that they covered, and going into the second promotion, they were making demands that were not within the contract. Probably they also saw a lot of crowd, so they thought I have won a lottery. And so it was just right for them to make those demands. And that is what I complain about in terms of the arena. And I don't think it was proper for them to make those demands. So I call it over, and that's it.
Okay. So, what is Dawn Promotion doing to brand its boxers so that they can be known not just in Bukom, Kolegono, but the whole country and West Africa at large?
We have done a lot. The only frustrating bit is COVID. We were going to host the African Ring Challenge in Ghana. That will see about 10 countries on the African continent participating. And this would be more like a tournament. We have had extensive discussion with the sanctioning board that is going to make available their titles for this particular tournament. And that would mean that on the African continent, everybody will be watching from Ghana. And well, COVID has not allowed us because it has become too expensive to travel, and the travel restrictions are not so favorable to us. It was tripling our costs, and that is when we thought that, well, maybe we would have to hold on. But what we need is a tournament. We are still thinking about it. We have had extensive discussions with Labadi Beach Hotel, and I must say they have been very accommodating and very helpful in getting to where we are now. We might end up doing it locally, and but before we do that, we would have to ensure that certain things are put in place at the GBA, because our national titles will be at stake, you know, so that people can actually monitor. And then when we say a national champion, he goes home with something good in his pocket. That is what matters, and that is the best branding we can have for the sports.
Okay. Thank you. But before we go, what are your final words?
Well, I'll keep saying what I have kept saying all this while. Boxing is more than just sports. It's business, it is entertainment, and if you want to promote tourism, the whole state of Nevada promotes tourism through boxing without even the talent. And I don't see why we have the talent, we have the value here, and we cannot do that. I sometimes look at the Ministry of Tourism and I really don't know what they are doing, when in fact, boxing alone can shoot up tourism. No other activities can do. We will get people flying into Ghana. Our airlines, our airports will be making much more money. We will be having pay-per-view, which means our media stations could rake in more money. Are we waiting until somebody takes away this opportunity we are blessed with naturally for us to say, oh, if we had known? I mean, we need to be smart. And I think that will be my final words.
Okay. Speaking on tourism, like I said in my interview with Isaac Kamankwa, the general manager of Ace Power Promotion, boxing has a potential to bring us more money through tourism. Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz too. Look at what it did. They had to construct a new stadium. All the stars around the world flew to Saudi Arabia. They slept in their hotels. That's more money. They bought some things from Saudi Arabia as gifts. That's more money for the economy. So please, the Ministry of Tourism must not just look at boxing or sports as a sports ministry thing, but it's a gold mine in which they can make more money. Tourism and sports are one thing. So I think it's high time the Ministry of Tourism collaborates much with the Ministry of Sports in order to...
The Ministry of Sports don't even know what is boxing.
A difficult one.
So how could they collaborate? That is where the issue is.
Okay, we at Med Sports TV, we will keep promoting boxing, the lesser sport. But before we sign out, stay positive. Do stay away from COVID. Wear your masks everywhere you go. Stay positive. Au revoir. Bye-bye.
Hello, what's up, Ghana? My name is Joseph Kinkon Agbeko, 3 times World Bantamweight World Champion. Keep watching Med Sports TV. Keep your channel up.